We are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4, text 6. Ajo api san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaro api san prakritim swam adhishthaya sambhavami atmamayaya. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I'm the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So here Krishna is speaking about his own form. So many people misunderstand Krishna's form, Krishna's situation when he comes here in the material world. But here Krishna is himself speaking about the position. He's saying, although I'm unborn, Krishna is eternal. It's not that he's born and he dies. No, he's eternal. And his body is transcendental, never deteriorates. Not like this material body. We see when we were children how the body was. Then as we are growing older, the body is deteriorating. That's because it's material body. Krishna, his body is transcendental. Satchid Ananda Vigraha. And although I'm the Lord of all living entities, so he's saying he's the Lord of everyone, all living entities. He's proclaiming himself that he's the Lord, he's God. Then he appears in every millennium in his original transcendental form. So how is he appearing in every millennium? In his original form. So we can see that here how Krishna is speaking, that his form is eternal. It is transcendental. It never deteriorates. And when he comes to this material world, he comes in his transcendental form. So he's saying, I have a body, I have a form, but that is transcendental. It's not material. So when he came, when he was doing all the pastimes in Vrindavan or in Dwarka or in Kurukshetra war, that is Krishna's transcendental form, his eternal form. That's how he is. Because these words by him are spoken on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He's standing there and he's saying that, look at me, this is my transcendental form. Yet people misunderstand and they want to misinterpret and say, no, but yes, but there's something beyond Krishna's form. No, there is nothing beyond Krishna's form. There is no one beyond Krishna's form. There is no energy, no nothing beyond Krishna. Krishna is the ultimate, he is the absolute. And Krishna says, one who understands the nature of my appearance, of my form, my activities, never needs to take birth in this material world again. So we just have to try to understand in truth. We have to try to understand this fact. So reading from the purport of Srila Prabhupada, the Lord has spoken about the peculiarity of his birth. Although he may appear like an ordinary person, he remembers everything of his many, many past births. Whereas a common man cannot remember what he has done even a few hours before. So Krishna, because Krishna was telling Arjuna, yeah, I spoke this Bhagavad Gita millions of years ago to Vivaswan, the sun god, and Vivaswan spoke it to Manu. Manu then spoke it to Ikshvaku. That's how this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita came in the human society. So that is the disciplic line of the Raj Rishi. So Krishna could remember millions of years ago what he did. And he said, Arjuna, you were there also. But Arjuna cannot remember because Arjuna is a living entity. He's not God. Although Arjuna is a pure devotee, but yet he's a living entity. Same. We can't remember what we did a few hours ago. We are not God. We are parts and parcel of God. So only Krishna is God. So it would be very difficult for common man to answer immediately. He would surely have to dredge his memory to recall what was he doing exactly at the same time one day before. Yeah, we'll all have to scratch our heads, Oh my God, yesterday at this time, what was I doing? What was I doing? What was I saying exactly at this time? I don't know how many of us will be able to remember exactly what we were doing. Okay, we might have a kind of a thing. Oh, I was out, but exactly what were we doing? Very difficult. But for Krishna, he knows. And yet, man often dare claim to be God or Krishna. There's so many people, they say, I'm God. I'm God. I'm Krishna. But Krishna is not a post. God is not a post. No one can become God. Only God is God. And Krishna is God. God has many names, unlimited names. Most popular is one of his most popular name is Krishna, means all attractive. Shall
Hare
we
Krishna.
something? Yeah.
Yeah. Me myself being not being a pure devotee, I believe. So I haven't seen. Only a pure devotee can see the Lord. And myself not being a pure devotee, I cannot see the Lord or experience anything which is related to Lord, because I'm not a pure devotee. So if I am being informed that God has no form, I will of course believe that only, because me myself is not a pure devotee. And if somebody else, if some other guru says, okay, there is no form of Lord, जैसे बोलते हैं कि God is निराकार. So what's wrong in that? What is wrong in that? Because I'm not a pure devotee, I can believe that also, right?
But like that, so if I say I want to be a doctor, and okay, I want to be a doctor, so I will just listen to whoever is going to tell me that, yeah, they can make me a doctor. So I will just pick up anyone and I will say, okay, you teach me. But if I really want to be, I have to enroll myself in the university, right? To make sure I'm getting the proper education. That is my responsibility. But if I just go to anyone who's proclaiming to just like that, because it's easier for me, no need for me to do much research, no need for me to do so much hard work. It's easy for me. So let me just believe what this person is saying. And then I will blame this person. Oh, I didn't get a doctor's degree.
But isn't it a risk?
What risk?
But isn't it a risk saying that everything else is an illusion in this material world? It's a risk, right? We call it everything else an illusion, except for
everything else is what?
Illusion. Like, no, we believe that, okay, it's an illusion kind of.
See, we believe a lot of things. Our minds are very fertile, very imaginative. We can believe whatever. You and me have a right to believe whatever we want to believe. But is it true? Is it the fact? If we really want to understand the fact, then we have to go to the authority. But if we want to continue to believe what we are believing, then the choice is ours. Right?
That you're saying about free will.
Yeah, free will. That's our free will. If I want to continue to believe whatever I'm believing, nobody can force me. Nobody can force me.
That's why it is said that, okay, this knowledge is not for everybody.
This knowledge is for, we should give it to everyone, and the innocent will pick it up. Those who are sincerely trying to understand the truth will understand, will hear it. You know, so authority, that's the reason. If I want to learn a language, why did we go to school? You know, why didn't our parents just buy some textbooks for us and say, okay, you can just learn by yourself, or I will teach you? No, we are enrolled in a school, proper education system is there, the board of education is there, so it's recognized. It's recognized that, okay, yes, you have studied your school or high school or your whatever, undergraduate or master's is recognized by the board of education. That's the authority. In any field you go, any expert you want to be, engineering, you have to go to the authority, learn from the person who's a certified engineer, train under them. Not that, oh, this person, he is going to make me do engineering very quickly. Others, I have to waste 10 years. So why shall I waste 10 years? This person is just telling me in 2 years he will teach me, and no need for me to spend so much money also. Let me just learn. But what's going to happen?
If somebody is suffering, if somebody is suffering and he's sure that he won't be living for long, and he goes for a shortcut way,
then shortcut, see, if we want to be cheated, then we will be cheated.
You're saying that if we want to be cheated, then we'll be cheated.
Yes.
Not that somebody is smart enough to cheat us.
See, everything again depends on our desire, right? How sincere are we? What are we looking for? Do I want to know what's the truth, or do I want the truth to be what I think it should be?
Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna.
So if I really want to know the truth, then I have to do the research to find out what's the truth. I have to make the effort. I have to take the pains. Then I cannot say, according to me, my belief, my imagination, my mother, my father, it's coming in my tradition, my friend, in our this, it's always like that. In our community, it's always like that. But then it's just blind leading the blind, or blind following the blind. Right?
Hare Krishna, noted.
Thank you. Thank you. So one should not be misled by such meaningless claims. We should not just be misled by people who are saying they are God, or you are God, or I'm God, or everyone is God. God is only one. Okay, so then again, the Lord explains his prakriti or form. So prakriti means nature, as well as swarup, or one's own form. So here, Krishna is speaking about his own swarup, his own form. The Lord says that he appears in his own body. He does not change his body as the common living entity changes from one body to another. We are the soul, but we are inside this material body. Then when we die, we give this material body, we take up another material body. And that's what we have been doing this in this material world since time immemorial. But Krishna, when he comes to this material world, as he did 5,000 years ago, he appeared in his own body. That body never changes. That body which he came in 5,000 years ago, it is transcendental, it's spiritual, it's eternal. He always is in that form. He does not need to change to take up another material body. There's no difference between his soul and his body. So the conditioned soul may have one kind of body in the present birth, but he has a different body in the next birth. So the conditioned soul, we are in this material world, so we are conditioned. Or we are conditioned that we are the body. So we are getting one body after another. Different births, different bodies. In the material world, the living entity has no fixed body, but transmigrates from one body to another. The Lord, however, does not do so. When he appears, he does so in the same original body by his internal potency. So whenever Krishna comes, whenever the Supreme Lord comes, he appears in his original body, by his internal potency. What is his internal potency? His spiritual potency. Spiritual potency. In other words, Krishna appears in this material world in his original eternal form with two hands holding a flute. So this is the eternal form of God. Original, eternal form. Two hands holding a flute. This is God, the Supreme Lord. Krishna with two hands holding a flute, peacock feather, lotus eyes. He's the ultimate. There is nothing beyond him. There is no energy greater than him. There is no consciousness greater than him. It is him, Krishna, He's a person. God is a person. God is a person. He lives in Krishna Lok, in Golok Vrindavan, and he's a cowherd boy. He has cows. That is his original form. Then he has, of course, many expansions. Expands as Lord Ramachandra, Nishingadev, Varahadev, Kurma, Lord Narayan. So many Vaikuntha planets. He's like Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan. But the original is Krishna. Etecha amsa kala pumsa, Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. Whole Bhagavatam. This is the Paribhash Sutra in Bhagavatam, the foundational verse, that there's so many expansions from the Supreme Lord and so many expansions of his expansions. Yet the original God is Krishna. So he appears exactly in his eternal body, uncontaminated by this material world. He appears exactly in his eternal body. His body is eternal, never changes, never becomes old. Krishna is always youthful, like a young boy, Nava Yovan, like a 16-year-old boy. That is his eternal form, uncontaminated by this material world. So his form is not under the control of Maya Devi. It's not that he's forced to take this form or he's kicked out of that form whenever Maya Devi wants. No, then Maya Devi will be stronger than him, but she's not. She's his energy. Our form is not eternal. Right now, we are in this material body. We, the soul, we are eternal. But we have forgotten our spiritual form. And we are thinking that this material form is our true self. Okay. So, and although his body, although he appears in the same transcendental body and is Lord of the universe, it still appears that he takes his birth like an ordinary living entity. And although his body does not deteriorate like a material body, it still appears that Lord Krishna grows from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth. But astonishingly enough, he never ages beyond youth. At the time of the Battle of Kurukshetra, he had many grandchildren at home, or in other words, he had sufficiently aged by material calculations. Still, he looked just like a young man, 20 or 25 years old. We never see a picture of Krishna in old age. Why? Because he never grows old like us. Although he's the oldest person in the whole creation, past, present, and future. His body never grows old. It's astonishing. People say, oh, if that's his eternal form, then how come he took birth? How he took birth? And then from a baby, he became like a small boy, and a boy to youth. How is all that happening? But if we hear the how he actually appeared, how he appeared in front of Devaki and Vasudev, he appeared fully clothed, not like how we are pushed out of the mother's stomach and then we are covered in all kinds of fluid and blood and dirty things and we are crying and we don't even have any clothes on. He appeared fully clothed, all the beautiful ornaments on his body. Who appears like that? Only the Lord appears like that. Only the Lord can do that, not us. And then yet we claim we are God. Right? So then he had many grandchildren, and then he still looked young, like a young man, 20 or 25 years old. How much efforts we have to take to look young. What not we do to look young. We'll do all the different kinds of beauty treatments, we'll do different things to look young. Krishna doesn't have to do all those things. You don't hear him saying, oh, I have a Botox appointment today, I have wrinkles, so I have to go. Oh, I have to go color my hair today. No, he looks young. He is always young. So neither his body nor his intelligence ever deteriorates or changes. Therefore, it is clear that in spite of his being in the material world, he is the same unborn, eternal form of bliss and knowledge. changeless in his transcendental body and intelligence. So Krishna's form is transcendental, it's eternal, Sat Chit Ananda, never changes. He's unborn. Factually, his appearance and disappearance are like the sun's rising, moving before us, and then disappearing from our sight. When the sun is out of sight, we think that the sun has set. And when the sun is before our eyes, we think that the sun is on the horizon. Actually, the sun is always in its fixed position. But owing to our defective, insufficient senses, we calculate the appearance and disappearance of the sun in the sky. So now we are saying that, oh, right now the sun is setting, so it's evening, the sun is gone. But the same sun is there in the other part of the world. It's not that the sun is not there. The sun is there, but our eyes are defective. We can't look into the other part of the world to see that the sun is there. So Krishna's appearance and disappearance is like that. It's eternally happening. Eternal. Krishna's, the sun rises, then it moves, then it sets, and we are thinking, oh, the sun is risen, now it's set. Now I can see the sun, now I cannot see the sun. Krishna, so now what happened when we saw Krishna 5,000 years ago? People saw him. Then, oh, then we can't see him anymore. Where did he go? It's not that he does not exist anymore. No, he's in another universe, performing pastimes eternally. His pastimes go on eternally. Just because we can't see him doesn't mean he does not exist. Like now when it's night and we can't see the sun, it doesn't mean the sun does not exist. It's there in the other part of the world. Same way. So when the sun is out of sight, we think the sun has set. And when the sun is before our eyes, we think that the sun is on the horizon. Actually, the sun is always fixed in its position. But owing to our defective, insufficient senses, we calculate the appearance and disappearance of the sun in the sky. And because Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are completely different from that of any ordinary, common living entity, it is evident that he is eternal, blissful knowledge by his internal potency, and he is never contaminated by material nature. We can, if we study from in Bhagavatam so much in detail, how he actually appeared in front of Vasudeva and Devaki, how he first appeared in the mind of Vasudeva, in the heart of Vasudeva, then he's transferred into the womb of Devaki. It's not like how we are born. It's not like that man and woman have to combine and then we take birth, and then the way we take birth is, crying and no clothes on, covered up in all the slime. But here Krishna's appearance is totally transcendental. So we cannot compare ourselves with him. He's not an ordinary, common living entity. He is the Supreme Lord. His form is Sat Chit Ananda. He's not under Maya. His form is not under the control of Maya, not under the control of karma, as we are. The Vedas also confirm that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unborn, yet he still appears to take his birth in multi-manifestations. He still appears to take his birth in multi-manifestations. So this is what we have to understand, that he appears. This is his appearance. This is his pastime. He chooses it. He's not forced. He is the one who chooses, I will appear at this time. This and this are going to be my parents. I will appear in this place. These are going to be my activities. He chooses. We don't choose. We are not given that choice. The Vedic supplementary literatures also confirm that even though the Lord appears to be taking his birth, he is still without change of body. In the Bhagavatam, he appears before his mother as Narayan with 4 hands and the decorations of the 6 kinds of full opulences. His appearance in his original, eternal form is his causeless mercy bestowed upon the living entities so that they can concentrate on the Supreme Lord as he is and not on mental concoctions or imaginations, which the impersonalists wrongly think the Lord's forms to be. So it is his mercy. He shows us that this is how he looks. It's his mercy to say, okay, I'm God and I look like this. So we can meditate on that form. We do not have to imagine, oh, that God must be like this, God might be like that. You know, we think, oh, if it's God, must be something that is someone or something that we shouldn't be able to understand. We all feel that. But no, here Bhagavad Gita clearly Krishna is saying who he is. He says, I'm God. This is how I look. He says, I have a spiritual world. Come there and live with me. This is the material world. He says that we are his living entities. So the knowledge is so perfectly given that it leaves no room for mental concoction or imagination. We do not need to imagine anything. We do not need to make up in our mind, should be like this, must be like this. You know, God should be like this, or God shouldn't be like this. God is he is who he is. He is who he is. We have to understand who he is. We can't say, no, I want God to be like that, and so he should be like that. The word Maya or Atma Maya refers to the Lord's causeless mercy according to the Vishwakosha dictionary. The Lord is conscious of all of his previous appearances and disappearances, but a common living entity forgets everything about his past body as soon as he gets another body. We can't remember what we were in the past body. We have no memory. Maybe some people might have, but the average person has no memory. What were we doing in the past life? Who are we thinking is my family, my children, my spouse, my career, my likes, my dislikes, my country, my nation, or even my species? We don't know anything. We can't remember it. Similarly, when we leave this body, we are not going to remember anything. In this body, whatever we are thinking is so dear to me. I'm so attached to this one or that one, or I can't live without this one or this thing or that one. Everything will be forgotten once we leave the body. We forget. That's how we living entities are. He is the Lord of all living entities because he performs wonderful and superhuman activities while he is on this earth. So his Leelas are wonderful and superhuman, which goes to show that he is the Supreme Lord. No ordinary living entity can perform the activities of what Krishna did. That as a 7-year-old child, he lifted the Govardhan hill for 7 days and 7 nights by his left hand, the little finger of the left hand. Nobody can do it. Or he killed Putana demon when he was just a very small baby, drinking his mother's milk, and he sucked out the life air of Putana. Such a big demon, huge demon. So therefore, the Lord is always the same absolute truth and is without differentiation between his form and self, or between his quality and body. A question may now be raised as to why the Lord appears and disappears in this world. This is explained in the next verse. So the absolute truth. Who is the absolute truth? That is the Supreme Lord. What is the absolute truth? That God is a person. Realizing that God is light is just a partial realization of God. Bhagavatam says that Brahmatmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan iti Shabdayate, that the learned transcendentalists, they understand God in 3 features, that God is a person, and that the Brahman or the Brahma Jyoti, the light which exists, that is the light which is coming from his body. That's the light coming from the body of Krishna. And the Paramatma is one of his features in which he expands in this material world. So when people think that God is light, their understanding is not a perfect understanding. Their understanding of God is just limited. It's not wrong, but it is not complete. It's not the complete understanding of God. Yeah, it's like if somebody is learning, so the knowledge of someone who is in the second grade is going to be lesser than someone who's on the 10th grade. So the understanding of God is as light is lower. Then someone progresses, then they understand God as Paramatma, or the super soul in everyone's heart. And the complete understanding is that God is a person. He has a transcendental form, eternal transcendental form. And what is all this light? This is the light which is coming from his body. And he expands as the Paramatma in everyone's heart in this material world, and also in every atom of the universe. The Paramatma is there, not only sitting in the living entity's heart, but he's there in every atom. And that's how everything can hold its shape. Is that okay? Any questions or comments? Or anything to add? I'll read the translation again. Although I'm unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I'm the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. This is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 6, where Krishna is saying that he comes, he appears in every millennium in his original transcendental form. So his form is eternal. We need to understand that. To understand the position of Krishna and our position in relation to him. That is self-realization. That is self-realization. Complete knowledge. Any questions? No? Vishal? Anything?
Okay, thank you.
Nothing? Chandra Didi?
No, everything is clear.
It's okay? Any doubts or any comments?
No.
No? Okay, so then...
Satchidanand means it is internal, no? Like eternal. Satchidanand, it is a feeling, right?
Chit Anand, Sat. Sat means eternal.
Okay.
Chit means full of knowledge.
Okay.
And Anand means full of bliss.
Okay.
So Krishna's form is Sat, Chit, Anand. He is Sat, Chit, Ananda Vigraha. So Krishna's form is Sat, eternal. Chit,
eternal.
full of knowledge. And Ananda, full of bliss. Full of bliss. So that is Sat, Chit, Ananda Vigraha. And Vigraha, form. He has a form. Not that is nothing, no form, nothing that you can see, or nothing that you can talk to. No, he has a form.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you. So we'll stop here for today. Thank you so much for listening and joining in. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.